before I dive into these specific features, I do want to address just a couple common concerns when, EAs or just your company will want to adopt a tool like VimCal. So to start things off, we are GDPR, ISO, and SOC 2 compliant. These are on the security side. So this just means that we don't store any sensitive calendar data or information in our databases. And in terms of working on an enterprise level, we also can adjust the product to suit your IT department's needs. Again, just to emphasize that we are flexible and willing to work with your company's needs so that you can ultimately have access to VimCal. The other main concern when getting started is also if they have to, or if EAs have to set up a new calendar system. So we basically are just a layer on top of your Google or your Outlook calendar. So there's no need to set anything up. You'll essentially just sign in with either Outlook or Google. And then really the main use case and why a lot of EAs and just executives use VimCal is because you can see both your Outlook and your Google Calendar in one place. And I know that's just a big pain point for a lot of people that use calendars. Cool. So let's see. Yeah, so I do think that covers just all of the concerns, but I'll be constantly monitoring the chat with Johnny here. So just feel free to ask any questions or drop reactions just as I go through my walkthrough. Cool. Let me go ahead and just share my screen real quick. Okay. Cool. So what we're seeing right now is basically what you'll see when you first log into VimCal. So it just shows you the options that you can sign in with. So again, like I said, we have Google, we have Microsoft, and then also we do have FSO for our enterprise companies that want to use VimCal. Cool. And then once you are signed in, all you have to do is just go to the calendar. It'll just sync over. And really the first feature I want to go through with you guys is slots. So to sort of set this one up, slots is the easiest way to share times on behalf of your executive. A big pain point that we found is a lot of EAs are doing a lot of manual work in terms of, looking at the calendar, finding times that are open, and then flipping back to their email to enter in the times manually. With slots, we make it a lot more simple for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the slots feature just in the upper right-hand corner. And all you have to do here is just click the range of times that you want to offer. And then VimCal takes care of the rest. So you'll see on this right-hand side that we just draft you an email formatted message along with the times that we are looking to offer. Once we feel comfortable with these times, we can then hit copy to clipboard just in the lower right side to grab those times. And then all we have to do is jump to our email and paste in those times. Cool. Yeah, again, feel free to react or ask any questions. But we feel that this is just maybe a little bit quicker than what you guys are normally doing. Another thing to add on to just sharing times is we've also just heard that time zones are just very tough to deal with, and having to convert time zones and add them in the message that you send out is also frustrating. So to go back to the slots feature, when I'm offering, times again, maybe these times I also need to consider somebody in a different time zone than my own. I can also click on this plus button here to basically add a different time zone. So maybe I want to meet with somebody in San Francisco. Cool. And so I can then just select that option. And what we're seeing here now is on the left-hand side, it's showing basically a side-by-side comparison of your current time zone and then the time zone you're looking to schedule with, as well as for the email, we're also noticing that Pacific time has been added to the list of times so that people can see it from both time zones.
That's one of my favorite parts because you don't have to spend a lot of time going back and forth to make sure you're listing it the right way to whoever you're sending it to.
Totally. Thank you for reaching out, Chrissy. Yeah. And then the other point to that is I know that maybe it just happens to be like more than one time zone because maybe it's Eastern and Central. You can continue to add those times. So like if we do Chicago, um, you know, it'll just kind of add to the stack and it goes from, from left to right. So like Pacific, Central, and then Eastern time at the end. Cool. And then really the process is the same. When we're ready or comfortable with the times, we hit copy to clipboard and we just go back to the email and we paste it in. So just as kind of like a recap, slots are really nice because you don't have to manually type out those times anymore, and it gives you a quicker view to just sort of click around and select the windows of time you want. And then time travel is just an easy way to look at multiple time zones and convert those times for you, instead of having to do that manually. The last point I wanted to bring up when it comes to slots is going to be holds. And this is one of our most popular features. Again, I know we have talked to a lot of EAs, and we just have found that a lot of them do put holds on the calendars for like higher priority meetings. Where we run into issues is where like, with their current flow, they say that, having to remember what holds they have on the calendar and remembering to like delete all of them is really frustrating. So when you're using the slots feature and you're offering times, if you want to create a hold for those times, there's a section here where we just check a box. And this will make sure that these times are held in the calendar so that your exec can see those times. And I also think it's nice because you can give context to what the hold is for. So you could say hold meeting with John. And when we copy to the clipboard this time, what we'll notice is that these times here are now held in yellow and they're visually on the calendar. The nice thing about this is, let's say, we paste in those times and the person replies and says, hey, Dylan, 12 to 12:30 works. I can then look back at the calendar, and if I want to convert one of these holds into a meeting, I can do that. So I would just need to click on the hold, go to which time I want to convert. So I'll do 12 to 12:30. And all I need to do is just add in John's name and hit enter to create the event. And you'll notice that the holds get removed. So you no longer have to worry about, remembering where you put the holds. They'll just automatically delete. Cool. Yeah, so that really covers the full scope of slots. And then again, that time travel feature on the side as well. One of the last tools I'll kind of go through is going to be our group spreadsheet feature. Maybe one thing to kind of ask you guys is, are you guys scheduling a lot of like larger scale meetings, and like how many attendees have you had on those calls? If the number is pretty high, then I have a feeling that group spreadsheets might be a good feature to use. So group polls is really nice. So I'll go ahead and click into here. And you'll see that there's this option for group spreadsheet here. So I'll just go ahead and create that. Really, the process with this is to start off with the meeting that you're looking to create. So maybe it's a board meeting. And maybe board meetings are normally an hour. So I put 60 minutes here. And then really the last step is to just, include the people that you want on the meeting with you. So we'll go ahead and do a few people internally. Perfect. So we have this set group of people. And from here, all we have to do is just sort of look at a few times that might work. So maybe we'll do here and here. And, maybe we'll do here because we know we can move this call. And then if there's anybody externally that also has to be included, you can also add them here as well. Cool. So we have the start of our attendees list here, which is nice. And we see everybody's calendar internally, so we can sort of start to decide and offer like, okay, maybe we start with these 3 times and go from there. Once you feel comfortable with that, all we have to do is hit create. And what VimCal will do is it basically just generates a link that you can send within that email thread to sort of get the conversation going. And to just show you guys what that looks like, I'll go ahead and open up a new tab. And I'll just go ahead and press enter here. And so similar to the name, group spreadsheet is really just a spreadsheet that shows the attendees that need to be on the call, along with the times that we're offering to do the call. We find that this is really nice because either the exec themselves or the EA for that exec can come in and start to vote on times. So we'll just kind of go through this example of people voting. And the nice part too is you can also add like a note as well. So like for context, maybe for Dinesh, he can only join, through phone. So maybe that's good to know. And then once everybody starts to fill out that spreadsheet or vote on times for their exec, you as the organizer can also view the results in VimCal. So let's say we close this out, and if we go back to group polls again, you'll see that board meeting is now like a live like spreadsheet that's open for us. And we can see a live look at what the most popular time is at the moment. Now that you know that, all that's left to do is just create the event. So you'll see that everybody seems to have voted for the most part for Wednesday. And if we hit create, it basically just adds everybody to that meeting. And it also titles it board meeting. So then we can, just hit create event and send. Cool. I do think that covers all the features I wanted to get to. Maybe now I just love to answer any questions, or if there's anything that you guys wanted further clarification on, I'm happy to answer those questions. If not, I can also jump into our tech tip as well. Here, let's see. What kind of security access do you need in order to use this? Yes. So what I'll be sending, so Lauren, that's a good question. So in my follow-up email post-call, I'll actually be sharing our privacy and security. documents, and also just a layout of just permissions that we ask for. Again, they're standard to Outlook and Google as well. It's really just the ability to, you know, view the calendar and then also give you access to everything that you have in Outlook or Google. What other features are on the roadmap? Yes. So in terms of other features, I would say that one that we are looking at in terms of from a team standpoint would be, like team comments. So just improving our ability for teams of EAs to work together and communicate through VimCal. So that's definitely something to look out for. Uh, I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen here. So for the tech tip today, this is going to be dealing with, people that work a lot in the browser. So one keyboard shortcut that I find really useful when needing to open up a new tab is pressing Command T on the keyboard. And what this does is it really just opens up a brand new tab really quickly instead of spending the time to click on it. I find this really useful if I need to open up like a new Word doc, or if I just need to, search something really quickly. And then the other thing that's nice is if you press Command and basically the number of the tab. So like maybe if I need to look at my email, I press Command 2, it'll just jump me directly to that tab. And if you're using a Windows device, it would be Alt. So it would be like Alt 2 or Alt 3, and it would just basically move you to that different tab. Yeah, I guess so. So that really covers the tech tip I wanted to get to. I do see that we have um, a few more questions here as well. For Charlotte again, let's see how many monthly active users you currently have. Honestly, Charlotte, maybe we can reach out to you separately just outside of the webinar, and then we can sort of like go back and forth and answer any questions that you may have. Cool. Let's see. Awesome. Yeah, so it seems like a lot of, okay, let's see. What's the difference between you and Calendly? Yeah, so I can answer that, Patricia. So in terms of, what VimCal offers, so we give you the visual like option to see your calendar. But we also do have elements of what Calendly does in terms of like the booking links. So if you do prefer to use booking links in certain instances, we also have that option. But yeah, I would say that we are more calendar focused in the sense that you can visually see your calendar and create, edit, and move around events. Yeah. Are there individual accounts available for use? Yes. So, Lauren, that's it. Also a good question. So we do have just accounts for individual EAs that want to use VimCal. This doesn't we don't have to roll it out company-wide. If you want to start with just one account, just to test it out and see if it would be a good fit. We also do single subscriptions as well. Um, Cool. Yeah, I think that's all I have for now. But yeah, just in terms of post call, we'll be sending you guys just a follow-up email with privacy and security, as well as just a recording of the webinar, just in case you came in a little bit late or you missed a few things up front. Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys so much again for taking the time. And yeah, look out for that follow-up email.